I am Corey Williams with FFL Genesis, President, VP of FFL Genesis, and I'm here with Mark Williams, Senior Sales Manager. Mark's getting close to his logo, so he has not revealed his team name yet, but excited for us to be on here today, Mark, as we put together this training series for our new agents here at FFL. Today, our product that we're going to be talking about is the Americo Eagle. A lot of changes to the Eagle platform in reference to onboarding and a new client and all that kind of stuff has made it a lot simpler. And Mark's going to log into their system here in a few minutes and cover an application. Just to give you a heads up on who's going to be doing the training today, Mark was our top performer last year, well over 200 families protected, off to a very fast start this year. And recently, just last month, jumped over sales manager to senior sales manager, has several people in his team building a large organization. And it's just a treat and honor to be to call Mark a business partner. So Mark, if you want to give just a 15, 30-second preview of yourself, and then I'll give you hosting, and then you can go into the Americo Eagle product. So Mark, floor is yours.
Sure. Yes, glad to be here. I've been on board for 14 months, actually 15 months, came on in January of 2021. Not from the industry, I was from the entrepreneurial world, ran several businesses and still do to some degree. But once I saw the opportunity, I couldn't pass it up. So I'm glad to be here. Going to be talking about Americo today. Americo is kind of our gateway carrier here. When you come on to FFL, it's one of the first ones you learn, and it's a great one to start with because the app is super easy. You get that instant decision. Lots of advantages to start out with Americo as you build your skills and help your clients. So we'll start off, go through the e-app, and it's got some great new changes that make doing our job even easier now. So excited about going through this. I'm going to go in with the assumption that you've done diligent field underwriting before we start the app. There are, as you folks know, certain carriers are better with certain diseases and conditions. We're going to assume that we've already done our diligent field underwriting because that is very important. We're going to assume that we've already quoted a rate to the clients, and they have agreed to apply for coverage, and that's where we're going to start the app. Okay.
Makes sense. Mark, you have the hosting. As Mark is pulling this up, he mentioned earlier about just the instant decision that you get with Americo. Americo pays some of our highest comp. Started off with FFL, obviously 8+ years ago when no one else would give Sean a start, and here we are. So I'm looking forward to going through this with you. There's a lot of nuances. If you haven't gone through this before, or if you've gone through it before on the other platform with Americo, this is much simpler, much easier, especially being able to get that digital signature, which Mark will go through as well. So Mark, if you don't have my cell phone number, I'll send it to you, text it to you. That way, when you do all the digital signature.
Certainly, I'll use yours. That's a great idea. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Corey, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, how about now? Okay.
There it goes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yep. Okay.
All
We
right.
see it.
So, all right, we'll go to the Americo agent website. Sign in, obviously. Username and password. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, page one. Now, for the sake of demonstration, folks, we are using the demonstration tool. I'm not doing a live app here, using the demonstration tool, which is not going to be a live app, of course. So, all right, so I'm running one of my actual live leads here. Her name is Lisa Davis. I'm not going to share everything about her with you, but I will use her real name. Okay, she is in Missouri. Age 64. Okay, so first page of the app. I want to make sure I'm on the correct product. Eagle Premier Series, which is our final expense product with Americo. E-app available. You click on the computer monitor symbol. Up comes the app. Okay, we've already input the birthday and the state. That's my writing number. Continue on. Just a little side note, you can always drop this down if you get lost in the app to make sure that you've got the age correct, what the status of the case is, that sort of thing. We'll use that here in a little bit after we submit for underwriting. Okay, so we're going to start off with Lisa's first name, middle initial, last name. Female. Obviously, we'll put in a fake social security number. Born in Missouri. Now, keep in mind, this app is geared towards phone sales, definitely, or in person. So it's universal. We'll get to that decision here in a little bit on which way we go with that. But it's really nice. Keep in mind, you've already done your field underwriting. You've already quoted. You're having a good conversation with the applicant. So just try to keep things moving on the phone as best you can. Okay, so make sure everything's correct there. Is mailing address different? Make sure you check yes or no on the appropriate response. Some people have a PO box and a physical address. Make sure you know where they would like to receive their mail. This is important. When they verify the identity of the person, they want to know how long they lived at that address so that they can go back and check various addresses if they've moved around a lot. So we'll just say that she's lived there 5 years or more. Create a fictional email address.
And here's a pro tip here. So there's no asterisk there, so it doesn't necessarily mean you have to put. If you go back to that mark, the email, yeah, yes. Doesn't mean that there's not an asterisk there. That doesn't mean back to the email portion.
Oh,
right there. Thank you. But if you check that box, they're going to get their policy emailed to them, not mailed. So you have to be very careful of that, because sometimes people will not get their policy and they're wondering why they didn't. And if you call the company, they're going to say you check the box to have that actually emailed to them. So I highly recommend not having people's policies emailed to them, because first of all, a lot of people don't have printers and things like that at home. They you know, a lot of restrictions if they work for employers of what websites and things they can log into. And the only policy that makes sense to have is the one that they can actually find the information when their family members need it. So
I 100% concur with Corey on that. It's checked by default. So I have trained myself and any folks on my team to uncheck that box, still verify it with your client. But like Corey said, people want a tangible hard copy of this thing coming in the mail. That really, believe it or not, it lends a lot of credibility to what we do when they get something in their hands that they can open and save somewhere. And it's human nature to just get a little peace of mind from that and have it in a safe spot in their home. So when they tell their family, hey, I'm covered now, they want to know where that policy is at, that sort of thing. So I personally, like Corey, I'm not a fan of the email delivery, because if they can't print it, they can't have their hands on it, it gets forgotten about, I'm afraid. So, okay. So we will put a phone number in. I usually don't put a work number in. Home and cell usually is plenty. Anymore, people just have one phone number like I do, but sometimes they have both.
Three, 2, 3.
Yeah, I got it here.
2, 0. Yeah. And I'll show it on the screen when it comes through, when we get to that point.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yes, in order to do the live demo 100%, we have to put in a live phone number. You'll see why here in a little bit. Okay. I like to drop things down, make sure everything's moving along as expected. She's applying for Eagle Premier, not the guaranteed policy. And she's agreed to go with $20,000 in coverage. She is a non-smoker. Really take your time and do these apps too. I was guilty last year of going through them too fast and kind of brushing over some things, but you have to put yourself in your client's position. This is important to them. So you want to make sure that you kind of explain and go through every part of the app so that they understand what they're getting to. So automatic premium loan, I think this is a great feature. If something ever happens where they can't make their payment, the stored cash value can help make the premium payment. So I explained that to them, and 100% will say they want that. That's been my experience. So with Eagle Premier, you automatically get the accidental death benefit and the accelerated benefit payment rider. If they get sick or whatnot, they can actually access the funds while they're still alive. We'll go ahead and select a grandchild term rider here so we can explain how that works, because that gets confusing when you're in the home. If you don't know how that works, that can be a little challenging. So we'll go ahead and assume that Lisa has one grandchild that she'd like to protect for $5,000. Okay. So one nice thing about the Americo app now is it actually updates the premium in the app. The old app did not do that. So that's kind of a nice advantage. So we can verify what we've already quoted based on everything she selected. I can go now, Ms. Davis, based on everything we talked about before we started the application, we're still at $99.91. Do you agree with that? Yes, I do. Or if she wanted to make a change, or if she wanted to add another grandchild, we would do that here. So just take your time, go through every step in conversation. Okay. So for the sake of the demo, we're doing this on the phone with Miss Lisa Davis. So we're going to do the remote signing option. If we were in person, we would go here on the tablet, or if you prefer to go email delivery, because she didn't have texting options on her phone, but she did have email, we could select the bottom selection. So here we are, remote signing, text delivery.
I know this sounds crazy, Mark, if you'll go back up to the email section. I know
Yes.
This sounds crazy. If you did not put an email address on the other page that Mark was on, you can't select this. I know it sounds crazy. I've actually gotten that call before. It won't take it. It won't take it. It won't take it. Well, it won't take it because you did not put an email address in here. So these apps are really smart. They follow through the process through the system, and they're only going to be information in, information out. So
yep, that's correct. Okay, so for sake of the demo, we are doing remote signing, text delivery, but certainly, be aware of a legitimate email address if you put one in, if you intend to use that as a signature process. So, okay, so we've got the phone number in. Now we're going to get Lisa's permission via text to submit for her medical background check, basically. So they're going to check the MIB in the prescription database based on this procedure here. So the text has been sent. What's going to happen now is the client's getting a 6-digit code, which they will now read back to me. Obviously, for the sake of demonstration purposes, Corey is going to read back the code to me because he received the message.
641-357.
Got it. Okay, so now we verify. Everything checks out. And you explain to him what we're doing here. Okay, Ms. Davis, what's going on now is we're going to submit to Americo. You've just now given them permission to check your medical history. So the app goes pretty quick. See up here, it tells us that the check is complete. So they've basically cleared the first hurdle. You don't really need to say much about this while you're on the phone with the client, unless for some reason they were declined. Otherwise, there's still some more health checks to go through, or health questions to go through to verify that they are a good candidate for the product. So again, we've already gotten through the medical, first round of medical checks. I can go here. Initial underwriting decision is completed. See, this has been updated now. So if you're not sure where you're at in the app, if you didn't see that little pop-up come up, you can always drop down this arrow here to see what's going on. Okay.
And as Mark's mentioning, you're doing an excellent job of this, Mark. That top left-hand corner right under Lisa Davis's name, you now can see the policy number. So again, just a pro tip, if you're new and this is one of the first couple times you've done this application, you're going to get excited. You're going to see that the application said it's approved. You do not want to tell that client that this application is approved, even though you have that number pop up there. As Mark just mentioned, you're still going to have to answer the questions. There may be something they didn't tell you. You've told them they got approved. You click through the application, you click yes to something in their health, and then the application tells you can't go any further. So you can do a little internal happy dance at this point, but you want to wait until you get to the next step. So Mark, you're up.
So, okay, remember in the beginning, I said it's important to do your due diligence on your field underwriting. Well, here's why. All right, so if we had done a verification on height and weight and general health questions in the field evaluation, that could have led us in another direction. But again, for the sake of the demo, we're going to assume Lisa is within the height and weight parameters and proceed with the application. But here's where it's important to have done your good field underwriting questionnaires, because things like COPD, obviously Alzheimer's here, anything like that, if that had come up in the field questionnaire, we would have had to pivot to another carrier, right? Because these are knockout questions. Or at least questions that will cause some more scrutiny, let's put it that way. Okay, so even though we've already kind of asked a lot of these questions in general, it's important to go through these in detail with the client, because the worst thing we can do is answer a question wrong. The client doesn't make it, say 2 years, they're deceased. And then the insurance company comes in and does a review on their health and realizes that, hey, you checked no to this question when it should have been yes. That could be a problem for the family. Okay, so, but we did our good field underwriting, so we already knew the answer to all these questions coming in. We knew that there was no Alzheimer's, dementia, memory loss, anything of that nature. We asked all the heart questions, kidney questions. The answer is no, so on. Liver hepatitis, no.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
For giggles, go ahead and click yes to the COPD question and see what it does to the application. You were right there. Yep.
Yeah.
See if it does any.
I played around with that earlier and it didn't freeze me or anything. I could continue.
Okay.
So it might be a combination of.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
It might be a combination of a couple of yes answers. I'm not sure what the formula is now in this new app.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
no for now. But
so we'll go back to no. And obviously, had we discovered COPD, we probably would have pivoted to another carrier in the field underwriting. So cancer.
Typically, what happens with these applications, if you're new and you're new to field underwriting, is once you click something on this application that it does not like, it will literally tell you you cannot go any further with the application. Yes. So not sure what happened there, but
I know with Americo's term products, it literally freezes the screen. You can't proceed. So
might be because you're in the demo app too, for whatever reason. Yeah.
Okay. So, one other thing, some of these questions are based on a time frame. So really make sure you pay attention and you read these to the client. If you would skip this part, in the past 24 months and so on, they might answer this question incorrectly. So let's say they had internal cancer 10 years ago and you didn't read this disclaimer at the top and you answered that yes, that could cause a problem for you and the client. So it's really important to pay attention and read through everything as you go through with the clients so that they understand time frames, conditions, and whatnot. So, so the diabetes was within the 24-month window. Now we're getting into 12-month window conditions. So in the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed, treated, tested positive, and so on for any of these items? So they've had a stent in the last 12 months. You'd have to answer yes, that could be a problem. If it was 13 or 14 months, you're okay. A lot of people don't know the exact dates, but if you can try to pin them down to that, it's helpful. We'll continue to answer no to all these things. Okay, now here's some 6-month window questions. They've been hospitalized, bedridden, no. No hospice care and so on. Drug and alcohol. these have their own time windows within the actual question itself. It's not under a heading. No terminal illness. Not waiting for an organ transplant. Okay. Americo is still asking COVID questions, so make sure you go through these thoroughly. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen if you answer yes to these anymore, because this is basically a 27-month window right now, based on the date it is today and going back to January 2020. So I'm not sure what will happen, to be honest with you. Okay, so we're going to confirm all these answers are correct and continue. All right. So we did request child coverage. So we'll go with little Billy. Grandchild, male.
Keep in mind, you see it says optional, even though Mark put that in there. Don't get caught up in that. If you don't absolutely need it, you don't want to hold your application up for that.
Right. Yeah, on the social security number, a lot of times the grandparents are not going to have that. I just put it in for demonstration purposes, but it is not required to submit the app. So I'll just go ahead and delete that, so you'll know that we can actually submit without it. I do advocate putting as much information that they have on hand as possible. It just helps if there's ever a claim. She has no coverage, and we verified that in the beginning when we had our discussion on the financial inventory. Okay, we're going to choose her husband, a new individual, which will be her husband, as the primary beneficiary.
As Mark's completing this, if for some reason you have three beneficiaries, three primary beneficiaries, make sure one of them is 34%, or
Yes.
it won't accept it, and you'll be going, why is this not taking it? So make one, ask them who their favorite is, make light of it a little bit, ask them who their favorite is, and give that one an extra 1%.
Yeah, I always ask them, which one of your children do you love 1% more than the other?
Absolutely, they always lie.
Even though the phone number is optional, I really try to hold them to that, because if there's a claim, America's got to find somebody. And not saying they wouldn't find them, but
Make it easy.
Always put yourself in their position. Wouldn't you want to have a phone number for your loved one if you get wiped out in a car wreck next week? I mean, that's really what we're looking at here. So okay, I'm not going to worry about his birthday, because that won't make a difference. And then a lot of times people ask you about contingent beneficiaries, which is what happens if the primary is no longer with us. Then it will go to the either additional or secondary beneficiary or co-beneficiary, or the contingent. So I'm going to go ahead and add a contingent, just to show you how it's done, because a lot of people, this is a lot of the calls we get from new agents in the home, is how to do a contingent beneficiary. So go ahead and knock one out right now. It's a new individual. It will be contingent. We're going to put Lisa's son, Tommy. And we're going to put a phone number for Tommy. Okay. This is good peace of mind for Lisa, and it really helps to shore up the business, knowing that her family is 100% protected if she or her husband are no longer with us. So, okay. Now we get to the billing page. This shouldn't be a surprise to them. They're gonna, if you've done your homework up front and explained how the process works, they know they're going to have to provide banking information. And with Americo, they're only going to take a bank account. So hopefully you have verified that in the beginning. Nothing worse than getting to this point in the application and finding out they don't have a bank account, only a debit card. So again, if you're doing diligent field underwriting, you know that ahead of time, and you have already prepared them to have their checkbook ready with your routing and account number. Lisa is on Social Security. So she has chosen to pay her first premium on the 3rd of the month, which is very common for Social Security disability recipients. So again, we could have chosen today, specific day of the month, which most people will tell you that, or Social Security billing, which we're not going to worry about that today, but that's another option. Lisa will be paying out of her account, which is a checking account, not a savings account. Okay. I always try to verify the routing and account after I put them in. I tend to make keystroke errors, so I just try to make sure we have no problems with that. Verify it all. Go ahead and validate. If they don't match up, we'll know right away. And it's happened to me before. It's because I made a keystroke error. I go back and verify once again and correct the numbers. Okay. Almost done. So they want to know if she's a family member. She is not. I've known her 1 day. That's literally what I put in.
If you make a mistake and put that it's a family member, you will be paid as earned.
Oh yeah.
They will, a lot of times, 99% of the time, they will go back and fix it if that error is made, but you're going to delay your compensation. So this is something that happens very common. For whatever reason, people go in and check. I've done it before. So just make sure you're cognizant of that.
I've done it multiple times, and it was always with the old Americo app. It was real wonky on toggling drop downs, and it was my fault because I was going too fast to the application. So one, I've learned to slow down. Two, this application is way better than the old one.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen as much, but no doubt it causes you a lot of problems. And guys, when you make a mistake with Americo, there's a lot of paperwork involved. So just take your time, verify everything, and don't do what I did last year, have to go back and forth with paperwork and track people down 300 miles away to get signatures and whatnot, because
not fun.
Let my mistakes be your guidance here.
Right.
So did I meet with Lisa in person? No, we did it on the phone. She did approach us because she responded to a lead, and her stated need was final expense. She had nothing in place. I rarely use Americo marketing materials, so I usually answer no to this. If you'd answer yes,
just gonna ask you what
they want to make sure that you leave a copy of the item with the person. So if you use a brochure, leave it with the person. If you do it over the phone, they're going to ask that you mail it to them. So over the phone, you didn't show them anything, so the answer is no, right? So we've already answered this once before, but there is no existing coverage. I'll put in my phone number. My email address is already pre-populated, which is nice. No agent split. And if you did, you would put the percentage here. If it's 50-50, you would just add the other person here.
Keep in mind that agent must already be licensed with Americo in order to split compensation with them, and they will not go retro back. That agent must be licensed with Americo for you to split, actively licensed for you to split.
Yeah. Okay. So I like to drop down this one more time, make sure everything is what I said it was, mainly the premium, issue age. I've made mistakes on the age before, and that's a pain as well. So this is a nice little tool to just verify a few little things that can cause you problems. All that looks good. The face amount is correct. we will submit to underwriting. Well, that was quick. She has been approved 100% now, so that's great. That final round of approvals was based on those questions that we answered earlier. So had we answered yes to a question or two that Americo didn't like, that we could have gotten a different decision here. So, okay. Be careful not to accidentally hit the withdrawal button. I've done that too.
I haven't done that one.
Not on this app, but the other one, I think I
Yeah,
did.
the other one, yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're going to do text signatures again, just like we did on the health verification.
So keep in mind, this is not a mistake. I've had people ask me, why am I signing twice? Well, you were
Yes.
signing originally for the Medical Information Bureau, which the MIB, and then you were signing again for the scripts, which Mark very eloquently explained. So when you get to this point, the person is signing the rest of the application, and we'll go through the exact same process that Mark just went through a few moments ago.
Absolutely. Okay. Don't accidentally cancel signing. I've done that too. We've got the phone number in, send text, okay? Client's gonna read back a 6-digit code, just like we did on the health verification.
343-145.
And notice that number is different than the first one.
That's right.
So we're gonna verify that. No keystroke errors, I put everything in correct. So we're almost finished. So electronic record signature disclosure. So we're going to explain to them what's going on here. Explain that the normal process in person is to get a signature on our tablet, but since we're over the phone, Ms. Davis, we're able to get by with your acceptance through the text message code. So I always like to review that. Agree. One more time, view the forms. This is just, again, to protect yourself. Sorry, I gotta move that. I like to scroll through it real quick. Not too quick, but make sure I've got everything correct before we submit for final submission. So verifying phone numbers, beneficiaries, primary contingent. And everything looks good. All the health questions are answered as she indicated, and all good. See, the signatures are not populated in yet, but they will be. Okay, I'll close that. Agree.
And if you ever get stuck as you're going through this application or pretty much any other, with this particular absolute, you're going to look for a blue bar. And if that blue bar is there, just like you see view signature forms and all that, and you're wondering where to go, that pretty much is going to be your indicator or your guide.
Yeah. And then, okay, it's been successfully submitted, so we're good. You can let Ms. Davis know, hey, everything's good. You're going to get a policy in the mail. I usually tell them it's going to take 7 to 10 days, depending on where their location is. I like to go back and view the signed forms. Make sure everything's here like it should be. I'm not going to go through every one of these, of course, but just kind of due diligence to make sure everything that we talked about is listed here, and we're good. So pretty simple. Then you can actually log into Americo, their live site, and actually see the policy in place. And there's a copy of it in there as well. If you're familiar with Americo's website, it's pretty easy to find that stuff.
Yep.
So, oh, sorry about that.
So this was the Americo Eagle. They just updated this site probably a couple of months ago. Not that the other application was that difficult, but this one is much easier. It's much simpler. It's definitely easier to get signatures and those kind of things done. As you can see, it's just a 6-digit code. Most seniors are obviously know how to maneuver through a text message now, and being able to get it instantly there on the spot, them reading a 6-digit code to you and walking through that process. A couple pro tips, as Mark was just mentioning a few moments ago, is just making sure, Mark, you can give me back the hosting whenever you'd like.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
Yeah, just a couple pro tips, as Mark was mentioning. Make sure you're taking the time. As you can see, it's taken us about probably 30 minutes to go through this. But when you get used to this application, you will whip through this application so fast because it's not that complicated. That's the first thing. The second part of that is trying to find it, Mark. The second
Zoom is way more complicated than America.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. But it's a really simple, really easy application process. You can get up to $30,000, depends upon their age. But if you're asking, asking their questions throughout the process, it's very simple. As Mark mentioned before, doing your field underwriting prior to going into and submitting any application with any carrier is really your job. That's why you're a field underwriter. Americo's a great company, an 8% bonus on your, on your business. It's very simple for seniors to understand. And again, that's why a lot of people here write Americo at a very high level because it's very simple. Mark, any other key action ideas you would give our new agents that are watching this?
Really, the field underwriting is the biggest thing. I'll just be honest. Last year, I used Americo as my field underwriting tool my first month out. They got declined by me. I would pivot, and that's not the way to do it. It's not. I learned that right away. I didn't do that for long, but I just figured Americo gives you the advantage of getting that decision up front before you put in banking info and get too far into the app. So I was trying to be efficient, but I was really being lazy by not doing asking enough questions early on. So guys, we have so many resources at our hand, other carriers that we can pivot to. Whether you're using Insurance Toolkit to do your field underwriting or the grids, which is what I use, you have options. You can cover almost anybody that we visit with, unless they're young and really in poor health. Otherwise, we've got an answer for everybody. So field underwriting is the key. The financial inventory is important. And, Americo is a great way to get started. It really is. It's a good tool. I like it for smokers for final expense. That's still my go-to for any smoker. So, I highly recommend it. But dig into this one and dig into the other carriers. You don't need 20 carriers to do this business. You need 4 or 5. And this is one of your top 5 for sure.
Yeah. And you helped over 200 families last year with what, 5, 6 carriers? Yeah,
I probably wrote 80% through Americo last year easily. Yeah. If not more.
You're wiser, smarter, all that kinds of stuff as well. So Mark, we appreciate your expertise. You're off to a fast start. Your team is obviously growing like crazy. We appreciate everything you're doing. Congratulations for jumping over sales manager, going right to senior sales manager, and obviously getting ready to get your logo whenever you come up with a team name now. And I look forward to hitting VP here really soon. Appreciate all your help. Appreciate your efforts, and let's go.
All right, let's go. Good luck, everybody.